I'm in Sardinia this week, an island off the coast of Italy in the Mediterranean Sea. And this is the historic heart of Iglesias. In here, homes are small, far smaller than most of us could imagine living in. Yet life here feels bigger, richer, and somehow more complete. It's not because of what's inside these walls, but because of something hidden in the streets, in the windows, and the spaces in between. Ready? Let's have a look. Number 1 is proximity to markets. In historic Mediterranean towns, you're rarely more than a few minutes walk from a public market. I'm not talking about these sterile, modern supermarkets. These are lively, irregular spaces, set against old stone walls and shaded by canvas awnings. Specifically, this supermarket in Iglesias is not really like the one I've just described, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Stalls usually overflow with seasonal vegetables, fresh fish, cheeses, and fragrant herbs. You come here to greet neighbors, to breathe in the smell of oranges and basil, and to hear the rhythm of vendors calling out the prices. It's a reminder that you don't need an overstocked private pantry when you have a vibrant shared market just down the street, and it belongs to everyone. Actually, today's market here is quiet, maybe because I just arrived in time for lunch. Number 2, the biggest possible living room. In Italy, the piazza is the community's living room, and it's always open. In Iglesias, people gather here almost without thinking, for a morning coffee, an evening stroll, or to sit and watch life pass by. It's where the news travels, friendships are maintained, and children learn the rhythms of community life. When you live in a small apartment, these piazzas effectively becomes the second living room. Or for some people, the biggest living room they could ever imagine. A place to breathe, stretch your legs, and to feel part of something that's bigger than your four walls. Number 3 is the biggest possible dining room. Another extension of small homes that I really love is local restaurants. Not the big chain spots. Please, not talking about those ones. But small, family-run trattorias. Yeah, trattorias. Sounds weird to me saying that in English, but I'll write it here, okay? So you know what I'm talking about. Where the chef knows your name and probably what you're going to order. In Mediterranean towns, dining out is part of the weekly rhythm. It's not about luxury, it's about connection. You don't need a huge dining room table when some of your most meaningful meals are here, surrounded by familiar faces and the smells of good cooking. Number 4, urban art and cultural layers. Walk just a few streets and you're surrounded by art. Not museum art, but living art. Carved stone doorways worn smooth by centuries of use, hand-painted tiles marking house numbers, wrought iron balconies shaped by blacksmiths long gone. Or even these plants, to me they sort of feel like an extension of someone's home, and probably they are. Even the murals and graffiti tell local stories, layering the past and present together. This is culture you live inside of. And maybe, even if you don't have enough space to hang art in your home, perhaps just a stroll down the road can make you feel part of something bigger and hopefully give you a sense of ease and relaxation. I think living nearby public art can give your small apartment a sense of meaning and depth. Number 5 is churches as landmarks. For those of you who are religious, the local church is more than a place of worship. It could be a spiritual anchor. But even if you're not, it's still part of your life. A landmark you meet friends by, a shelter from the midday sun, a quiet place to think. In historic towns, these buildings aren't just monuments. They're part of everyday geography of life. Number 6, the human scale. As an architect, I think one of the biggest differences between historic towns and modern cities is the different sense of scale. Here, the facades of buildings are often only a few meters apart. You can greet a neighbor from your window without raising your voice. As a consequence, the streets feel intimate, safe, alive, built for people, not for cars. Modern city planning, especially after Haussmann's redesigns of Paris in the 1800s, brought more light and air, which are valuable, but also widened the distance between people. We gained space for traffic, but lost space for conversation. Number 7, a curious extra, the window economy. Here's something curious for you. In historic towns, windows are not just made for looking out. Windows are delivery points, gossip lines, and sometimes even shop counters. A loaf of bread could be lowered down on a string. A coffee could be passed across to the neighbor opposite. It's a level of casual, everyday connection that's almost disappeared in modern life. And it all happened without stepping outside. My message to you is that small apartments in cities like Iglesias, for example, where I'm here now, never felt limiting because the whole town is effectively your home. The garden down the street is your backyard. The piazza is your living room. The local restaurant is your dining room. And your neighbor leaning out of their window, I think it's your evening entertainment. Modern life has made us more comfortable inside our homes, but maybe less connected outside of them. So wherever you live, whether that's in the USA, UK, Australia, you name it, think beyond your four walls. Look for your own extensions through your street, your local cafes, and your neighborhood in general. Because when the outside feels like home, the inside feels bigger. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I usually post every Sunday at 5 p.m. GMT. And please let me know in the comments below, do you live more inside your home or outside? In other words, do you really explore your neighborhood and feel that that could be an extension of your home? All right, okay, I'll tell you what, I think it's time for me now to go back to the beach and bring the dog, dive into the blue waters of Sardinia. So please have the best time and I'll see you next week. Ciao.